My name is Greg Ashton. I have the title of Girls College Director with Charlotte Independence. I also coach in the club on the ECNL girls side. I've also got a son that plays in the club, plays some rec soccer, so I'm involved I've coached some rec teams, and I also have the '06 select girls team as well. So um, it's a great opportunity to have you guys on the call tonight. And the hope of this whole presentation is to try to help answer some questions with the recruiting process. On the girls' side, it's slightly different on the boys' side, but the one thing I will say is that the recruiting process is different for every single person. And this is really just a guide and an informational opportunity and really an educational opportunity for both players and parents to kind of get a better understanding of how this process works. And then the journey that everyone takes to ultimately find the best fit for them academically and athletically is is going to be a journey that could be long for some folks. It can be short for some folks, but what it really does entail is being actively involved and being proactive in it. The one thing you can't do is just sit at home and think that you're going to be recruited. You really have to take an active role in the process of getting yourself onto a program where you have the chance to play and continue to get a great education. So the one thing that I just really want to make sure everyone understands that NCAA 1, 2, and 3 have slightly different rules and regulations so that the NCAA has them set up so that coaches can't take advantage of kids through the recruitment process. Some new rules came out about 4 years ago to help give parents and players just a little bit more breathing room so that they can make some decisions. Division 1 and 2 obviously have athletic scholarships that are involved, and so that's to try to help slow that process down. Whereas Division 3, where there are no athletic scholarships, really have no recruiting restrictions. Coaches can reach out and talk to players at any time um, and try and establish relationships with players so that they have a longer period of time to figure out if that's the right school for them. So what I would like to say about the recruiting process, as I said, it's different for everyone. Um, this is a guide to try to help players and parents navigate things as they go from being recruitable athletes, which is ninth graders, through to 12th graders. And then this process is continually evolving as players get involved and learn more about colleges and places that they might like to go to. That list will start to change, and that list will also start to change for college coaches as they enter the recruitment process with players. And so it's really a fluid kind of situation. And then you try to work your way through to the point where you have the best fit, and you feel comfortable with everything that they're offering, and you're happy that that's the place that you want to go and everything works financially. And then if it's not, or if little things come up that you're not happy with, then you continue the process and continue trying to find the best fit for you. As you're going through this process, there are a few things that kind of buckets that we've come up with. There's the academic side, the athletic side, the social, and then obviously financial considerations. I just wanted to try and skip through these things real quick so that you guys can see what we're kind of looking at there. On the academic side of things, every student has different strengths and weaknesses. If you're a really strong student and you want to go to an academically rigorous school that also has an opportunity to play soccer, that's great. If you're a student that has to work really hard for your grades, there's also lots of universities and colleges out there that offer opportunities for solid students that want to get a meaningful degree and also play soccer at the same time. So depending on your grades, they can open doors for you, and then if your grades are, if you're struggling with your grades, that can sometimes close doors for you. So there's not a college coach in America that's going to turn away a kid because their grades are too good. So working hard in the classroom during your high school years, trying to get A's and B's, keeping your GPA up is certainly a really good way to help make you a better prospect for colleges, for college coaches, and having an idea of what you want to study, what you want to major in, can really help. Because if you're looking at a school that doesn't offer the majors that you have any interest in, that may be not the right fit for you. Oops. On the athletic side of things, as I said before, there's Division 1, 2, and 3. There's also a thing called NAIA, and then there are junior colleges out there. The one thing I'd say with this is asking every player to be realistic with the level of soccer that they're capable of playing. You want to be realistic, but also you want to challenge yourself. So one way would be to look at the level that you play, and then consider if a Division 1 coach was looking at players, would they be looking at the team that you play on, whether you play at an ECNL level or regional league level or a blue level. I think you want to be realistic with with the team that you currently play on, and then transfer that into the colleges that you're looking to get recruited by, knowing full well that coaches are going to start looking at players at the ECNL level, and then they'll work their way down. You've got to understand that where you're looking to try to go to school, you're going to be up against other players that are coming from other platforms of league play. So you've got to compare yourself against them when you're trying to get recruited. What you could do is look at the rosters of schools that you're looking at. Take a look at the current players on the team, see what teams what environments they've come from. Look at the players that are playing in your position and see how many of them there are. If you're a goalkeeper and they're graduating, and they've got 3 goalkeepers on the roster already, but 2 of them are graduating, then that might be a great opportunity to consider that program, because you know they'll be looking for another keeper. You could also be looking for the consistency in the program, how they've been going over the course of the seasons. Do they do a lot of? Does it look like there's a lot of turnover with players? Is there a lot of turnover of coaches? And then ultimately, what you want to do if you start to get interest in a program is try to go see them play, either in person or look online. And in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be lots of conference tournaments going on. Actually, starting tomorrow, there's a bunch of conference tournaments that are going to be online that you could start to look at games from those colleges and universities, and see if that's the level that you think that you could play at. On the social side of things, it's really social side of things. It's what's important for you when you're looking for a college or a university. Is it the location? You want a warm climate, warm climate, or a cooler climate that doesn't bother you? Do you want to be far from home, close to home? Are you looking for a large school, medium school, small school? Are you looking just the physical look of the school? Does the campus really appeal to you, or there's something about it that just rubs you up the wrong way? And then taking a deeper dive into the programs and trying to get to somehow get to know the coaches, either by taking official or unofficial visits, talking with the assistants, talking with the players, and getting to kind of get a feel of what that program's all about and how they interact. Is there good team chemistry in the team? Is it a place that you could see yourself for 4 years if you had the opportunity to go there? So that's on the social side of things. And then, the biggest thing for me would be the financial considerations. Every family, every player's financial situation is different. If you don't have any limitations, that's great. It certainly opens up lots of opportunities. But if there are some limitations, I think some honest conversations between parents and the play and their daughters needs to happen, so that you can kind of have a better idea as you're going through this process of what really truly is available, if it's necessary to try to get an athletic scholarship. If that's not the case, there are some financial aid packages that schools offer. There is academic money at some schools. Grants are available, which is very similar to it's part of their financial aid, very similar to a scholarship. And then there are some schools that can stack everything together. They can have grants, they can have academic money, and then they can have some need-based aid stacked together. Every school is different. There are no rules on what they can do. Every school can have a different financial aid philosophy, where if you do qualify for some athletic money, then you may not qualify for anything else. There may be that if you get a little bit of athletic money, you can also combine that with academic money. So that's called stacking. And that's a question that you could ask the coach at a school that's recruiting you or you're looking at, or you could also ask their admissions office. A good way to check this out is every school that has qualifies for any federal financial aid to give students, they have to have a thing called a net price calculator. It's located on their admissions page. It's a neat calculator that you can plug in your numbers from your most recent W-2, and as long as those numbers are pretty accurate, it'll spit out a number that is called your estimated family contribution, which, if all things being equal, this is what the school would come up with, or in terms of financial aid, and then it spits out a number that you would be expected to play each year. So that's a quick way to take a look at a school and see if it is something that is realistically possible. Excuse me. When you get down to the crux of it, as you're trying to find a place to finally be the best fit for you, it's just starting with a large list and then narrowing things down till you finally come down to your top 5, and then trying to get down to that right choice. You've got to realize, as you're doing that, college coaches are doing that as well. They also start with big lists and then they start to narrow down. So as you're narrowing down your options, just being polite to coaches if they reach out to you. We've had several coaches recently comment that they've reached out to players in the club, and some have returned calls and others haven't. And I think it's just it's a matter of being courteous, that if someone takes the time to come see you play and they send you an email replying to them and just saying, hey, thanks for your interest, but unfortunately I'm looking elsewhere, or this isn't quite the school that I'm looking for, you can answer it in a polite way. But as you would like them to reply to your emails, I think it's important that we reply to them as well. So realizing that these lists get slimmed down, and if you do reply and you show an enthusiasm and an enthusiastic response to the coach, and they're more likely to stay in touch with you. But if they don't hear from you, they'll move on to someone else. So as you're trying to put your list together, the club has a really neat tool. It's called College Fit Finder. Every senior player in the club has a College Fit Finder account, and this Fit Finder account allows you to, once you sign in, you can, once you sign in, you can use it to create, it has a filter on it that you can plug in all the things that are important to you and start creating a list of schools that offer women's soccer that might fit the criteria that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a smaller school in the Southeast region that offers biology, you can plug all those things in using the filters, and it'll spit out a number of schools for you. You can even filter it further and say, if you're only looking for schools with a certain size, you can, it'll spit that list out for you. From that list, then I would really encourage you to get cracking, emailing schools. We're at a time right now that as colleges are finishing up their seasons, we're going to start to get into the showcase kind of season for the year, where there are lots of events that college coaches are looking to go to, wanting to see players play and wanting to truly fill their roster. So getting cracking with this right now would be, a really good time to get on the move with that. One thing that I really do want to highlight about social media for you guys is that social media can be a really neat way to positively promote yourself. There are some things on there though as well that can get you into trouble, that can cause a negative impact. We've had coaches in the past that have started to recruit student athletes, and then they've seen something on one of their social media sites that just hasn't looked good, and unfortunately they've stopped recruiting those kids. So I would just warn you to, if you use social media, use it in a positive way. You don't want that to negatively impact your opportunities at a school, because their coaches do check all that stuff and want to have kids that are going to come in and have a positive influence in their program, rather than cause any red flags. So just be careful with that. The biggest thing when you're looking, excuse me, the biggest thing to help you in your search for a school is the way that you market yourself. So not only getting the coaches to come see you play, and then demonstrating with your soccer ability how you could help their program, you've got to try and get them to the field. So being proactive with emails, calling if you're at the right age to be able to call a college coach, and then taking unofficial visits and then hopefully official visits. You know, there are very few players, like I said at the beginning, that can just sit back and wait to be recruited. You've got to do everything you can to try to separate yourself from all the hundreds of other recruits that are out there, or potential recruits that this coach could be looking at. So being part of a competitive soccer team, playing in showcase tournaments, some high school programs coaches do look at, having the opportunity to go to tryouts that Division II schools allow, attending ID camps and combines that, you know, the club will be having a combine February 18th, but other ID camps that are specific to colleges that you're interested in would be a great way to get in front of coaches on their campus, using College Fit Finder to help with your searching, and then creating a resume that is going to help you. And we'll talk about resumes in a minute. College Fit Finder, I'll send out this presentation as well, but College Fit Finder is something that like I said, all of you have an account. If you haven't used it before, you just go to collegefitfinder.com. Your first name, last name, all lowercase with no spaces between, is your username, and it's also your password to start with. So you could use that to create your, to create your list from your filters. Just to give you a quick comparison with the different divisions. And this information was based on last year, but the scholarship limit hasn't changed for Division I. Right now it's 14. I know there's discussion right now to try to grow that to 15 or 16, but right now it's 14. Division II have 9.9 scholarships, and as I said before, Division III has no athletic scholarships. NAIA has 12, and then some junior colleges have up to 18. Just because it says that you have 14 doesn't mean that they definitely have 14. So if you're a fully funded Division I program, you have 14 scholarships total, not 14 scholarships each year. So you've got equivalent of 14 scholarships to spread over your whole roster. The thing about it is that not all schools are equal. So even though they allow for 14 scholarships, it doesn't mean that they have 14. There are some Division I schools that can have as many as 3 scholarships, or they may have up to 10. And so that we say that they're partially funded programs. The Ivy League has no athletic scholarships at all. They have other academic and financial need-based aid scholarships that they provide, but they have no athletic scholarships. And then you have the difference between a mid-major and a Pac-5 school. Pac-5 school is from the big conferences, the ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12. All of them are fully funded programs that are, have the benefits of big football programs helping their athletic budgets. And then you have other Division I schools that are not in the Pac-5 that are, most of them are fully funded, some are not, but then they're called mid-majors. So mid-majors are still Division I schools. There's some very good mid-majors that are out there and that are currently in the top 25 schools in the NCAA rankings right now. And that can fluctuate from year to year based on how their roster is graduating and what types of players that they're bringing in. But just to go back to this, the stats, even though they can have a maximum of 14 scholarships, that does not necessarily mean that the school has all of those scholarships. And it's not a rude question to ask a coach as you're going through this process and you start going down talking about being there, that you could ask, flat out ask how many scholarships they have, how many are they looking to use during for the class that you're part of as they're looking to recruit. As you go through the recruitment process, you can take unofficial visits. You can take as many unofficial visits as you want. That means that you're not paying for any of the expenses to go on the visit. If you can go on an unofficial visit at any point. You cannot talk to one of the coaches at the school until after June 15th, going into your junior year. So if you're a freshman and a sophomore, you can go and visit any school at any time, watch them play. You just can't talk to the coaching staff. On June 15th, after your sophomore year, you can start talking to the college coaches by phone and by email. You can text with them. You can go to their ID camps and talk with them. Up until that time, if you went to an ID camp, you wouldn't be able to have a sit-down chat with the coach because they're just not allowed to at that point. So really, in your junior year, it's a great time to start making college visits in the fall if you can, so that it just gives you a little bit more time to get all your thoughts and everything organized. But in taking spring breaks, weekends, up until that time, if you're away on a visit, if you're away playing in a tournament and there's a school close to you, you could stop by and see them. I know when we're up at WAGS back in October, some of our players went to visit some local schools that were around where we were playing. But it takes doing some homework, using that list that you've created with FitFinder and having a plan of what schools you want to try to attack. And then if you do take these unofficial visits, having conversations with the admissions department, having conversations with, if you are if you've passed June 15th, when you're having these conversations with the college coaches, you really want to try and take the lead in the conversations. Don't let your parents kind of sure they can be there and they can have conversations, but the college coaches really want to talk to you, not your parents. So it may be a little intimidating to start with, but getting comfortable talking with these coaches is really important. I would also encourage you to dress well, look the part. You don't have to be dressed like you're going to a formal event, but still looking smart and casual. And also the way you behave around your parents, be respectful to your parents. I think that's an important piece. When I was coaching, I saw some interactions between recruits and their parents that made me think, gosh, I'm not sure I want that player on my team if that's the way they interact with people. So you're being observed. So just be cognizant of that and be ready to be active in a conversation and show enthusiasm and ask questions, because if you act like you don't want to be there, then there's a good chance the college coaches will pick up on that. The difference between an unofficial and an official visit is that an official visit can be paid for by the school that you visit. You're only allowed to take 5 total paid visits and no more than 1 per school. You can't take these until September 1st of your junior year. So after June 15th, you start communicating with coaches. They invite you to come on campus. They say, hey, we'll bring you on an official visit. The first time that you could go is September 1st. You could take an unofficial visit before then and they could chat with you, but September 1st is the first time you can take a paid visit. And you have to make sure that you have your transcripts into them and have a clearinghouse number. You have to be registered for all that before you take an official visit. The general rules, right now, why doesn't a coach return my call? Well, if you're, they're very busy. And right now getting into playoff time, I know there are some coaches that kind of are fully concentrating on that. But if you're not a junior, you won't be able to talk to them anyway. Juniors and seniors can talk to college coaches. So if you called up a coach, first thing they're going to ask you is, what year are you? If you say that I'm a sophomore, they're going to say, unfortunately, I can't talk to you. So that's why that June 15th rule is really important. You can email a coach as much as you want. They cannot reply to you until until after June 15th. So you could email them and send them all your information, all about you, all about the games you've got coming up. Just don't be upset that they haven't replied to you. And then at an event, if you happen to see a coach, I've had a case where someone thought that a coach is rude. Well, they're not allowed to talk to you at events. It is actually an NCAA rule that during the event they can't have a conversation. They can say hello. They can, just have a very short chat, but they really can't engage in a long conversation with parents or with prospective student athletes. Just remember that every action has a consequence. So I would ask you not to put a college coach in an awkward situation, and don't put yourself in a situation where you're they're questioning whether you are the right fit for them as they go through this. Right? So I sent out with the invitation to listen to this, to be part of this presentation, a letter on how to do a good email to a introductory email to a college coach. Really making sure that you personalize it to that coach and don't copy and paste and get the coach's name and the school wrong. Make sure you have a subject line that says, who you are and what year graduation you are and what position you play in. And then really just to be short and sweet with that introductory email, and show some enthusiasm, why you're writing to them, why you think you'd be a good fit at their school. I heard the other day of a coach received an email from someone that said, my mom told me to email you. That wasn't a really good way to start an email to the school, and I don't think it really helped in her recruitment. So just taking your time, editing, getting yourself a good template of an email, but then just be really careful that when you do send it out, that you get the right coach to the right school. Don't copy and paste and get the wrong. Well, if you do copy and paste, make sure you get the right school to the right email address, so it doesn't. So you give a good impression. You could create a soccer resume as well. I sent you a template on that, so that's where you can put all your information. The College Fit Finder, when you fill out the profile on that, it does generate a PDF profile that you could use, and you can just make sure that everything is up to date with that. With your make sure your graduation year is the most important there. What team you play on, what your uniform number is. If you're a goalkeeper and you're emailing about a tournament and you know what half you're going to play in, if you can let them know playing at 9 o'clock on field 15, I'll be playing in the second half. That gives them a chance to go watch some other players and then get there at halftime to see you play. Really making sure that you understand, you communicate to them why you think their particular school is a good fit for you, I think is really important. And then really just staying in communication with them. If they email you back, respond to them. If you haven't heard from them, they're not going to be able to email you back until after June 15th. So assume that they've received it and they want to see you play, and keep emailing them until that date. It's really just sometimes it's perseverance, and sometimes it's just making that important, just cracking that moment that you catch a coach and they're looking for a particular player, and your email comes across and they get interested in you. Attaching any quick highlight videos would be a good thing as well, or a link so that they can get to see highlights of you. Standardized tests, video links. schedules of your games and tournaments, and then finding out if they're offering any camps or ID camps or clinics would be a good thing for you to reach out to them about. They can reply with an invitation to an ID camp. So that is one thing that they can do. And then once June 15th comes along, they may email you or call you and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you. Let's set up a time for a phone call. Please make sure you respond to that email. The last bit in this presentation is really just a piece on what you should be doing at each stage of your recruitment process. For ninth graders, you can see it there. Start researching using College Fit Finder, learn the difference between the divisions. Consider taking rigorous classes if you're really academically inclined. Can you take AP classes, honors classes versus regular classes to help your GPA? If you're working hard to get good grades as a freshman, it's just something that if you do that now, it'll help you get good habits for the future. You could start working on your soccer resume and start to think about your short and long-term academic goals. On the soccer side of things, you could start to talk to your primary coaches about ID camps that maybe you could attend. You don't want to waste your money. If your coach thinks that you're capable of playing at a particular school, use their insights into spending your money wisely. If going off to Chapel Hill's ID camp may not be the best use of your money, depending on what level of soccer you're at right now. Filling out recruiting questionnaires, meeting with your primary club coach to go over those options, and start attending college showcases with your club team. And then really, this is just an overall observation. I think that more kids need to start watching college games and actually see what the level of play is, and how the biggest thing is the speed of play. And so you can look to see what you're going to have to incorporate in your game to give you a chance to play at that level. In 10th grade, things start to ramp up a little bit more, start to use College Fit Finder to try to whittle down that list. That list could be constantly changing with the interests that you have. Make sure you have a range of schools on there. Further investigation into what type of school, a D1, 2, or 3 school would be best for you. Talking with your high school academic advisor about making sure that all your NCAA requirements are taken care of. Building the soccer resume, like the template that I sent you guys. And then emailing college coaches, starting to email college coaches and showing an interest and letting them know that they're interested, that you are interested in their program. On the soccer side of things, I think you can email coaches before your games to invite them to your games, realizing that they can't reply to you, but you're at least letting them know, continuing to establish that relationship with them and letting them know that you're playing, especially if you're playing close to their campus. Keep updates of the showcase and tournaments. This is when you should start to look to attend these college combines so that they can put a name with a face. Pulling out the questionnaires, as we said before, continuing to talk with your club coach about college opportunities, and keeping going to watch these games. At the end of your 10th grade year, that's when June 15th rocks around, and that's when you'll be actually able to pick up the phone and talk with the coach, and they'll be able to talk with you, and that's when things really get cracking. 11th grade, you're going to continue to work with Fit Finder. Hopefully, your schools have narrowed even further. Keeping up with your academic side of things, talking about whether maybe getting into honors classes or taking an AP class is possible, looking at doing your SATs and your ACTs, thinking about financial aid. Parents can get involved with that, listening to getting some more information. FAFSA is still available. Talking with admissions departments of different schools that your daughters may be interested in. Start requesting letters of recommendations from your teachers at school that truly know you. And then if you're still looking to try to figure out the difference between different schools, they have high schools sometimes have colleges come on campus to kind of give them, do a college night. That could be something that you look to do, and look out for things that the club is looking to do with having college information nights with some college coaches involved. On the soccer side of things, you're just continuing to reach out to coaches, emailing before showcases. Again, ramping up, if you haven't at this stage narrowed that list down, really looking at combines and camps at schools that are in your top 4 or 5 schools. Asking your club coaches to contact college coaches and give them a recommendation on your behalf. Continue watching these games and start to think about unofficial and official visits. Remember, you're only allowed 5 visits. And then in your 12th grade year, if you haven't already committed to a school, these are the things that you're really having to start to narrow things down. I was just on a conversation with a Division III coach today who just got done with his season, and he is taking over a program that he's trying to rebuild. So he's looking to bring in a whole bunch of new players. So the thing that I would say is, if any of you are late in this process, that the process for college coaches is not done until their preseason starts in August of 2023 for their next year's class. There will be kids that over the summer drop off. There'll be kids that get added in. I heard of a situation where a goalkeeper they thought was coming in decided that she wasn't going to play soccer anymore, so they were in a scramble looking for a keeper and picked up a player, 2 weeks before preseason started. So, that this process will go on. If some of you, like I said, are juniors and seniors right now, I would encourage you to really get yourselves organized and get cracking now. And if you're a 12th grader and you've only just decided that, hey, you want to give college soccer a shot, then you're a little bit behind, but there's still time to try and find an opportunity for you. So this presentation I'll send out to everyone. And is there any questions that anyone has right now specifically that I can help with? Nope. It is, like I said, it's a journey for everyone to go, and it's a different journey for everyone. I think it may sound a little bit stressful. If you're organized and you're thorough with this, that can take the stress out of it. I think that if every night you can do 5 to 10 minutes college, call it your college search process class, you can kind of keep it manageable. If you leave it to the last minute, that's when most of the stress is involved. But it's something that you've got to work through. I think that it's important to talk to other people about it, talk to your parents, talk to your club coaches. If you want to reach out to me and chat about it, I'd be happy to help in any way I can. But I think it's something that if you even talking with older players that you may know, family members that have gone through the recruitment process, friends that have friends that are playing soccer, getting a chance to talk to these kids. Everyone has a different experience going through the process, and then they have a different experience while they're there. So it's what you make of it. It's it's the time and effort that you put into it. And if I can be of any help, I'd be happy to help in any way I can. So if there are no questions, I don't want to take up any more of your time on a Sunday evening. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Halloween. Stay safe tomorrow. Enjoy your night off. I think a lot of teams are having tomorrow night off for Halloween. Be careful and good luck with the rest of your seasons.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.